Recount very much. Today's lecture on air ventilation. Actually, due to the virus situation, COVID situation, it's not possible to conduct this lecture physically. Otherwise, this is a very interesting lecture, and it was if due to certain situations, if it conducted physically, then we have mutual discussion and mutual questions and conversations, and there might be a clear understanding after the two-way communication in the lecture. Going to the air ventilation, today we will discuss that. Though we know air is essential for breathing, but there are few important questions. And these questions are: what is the composition of air? And have you wondered what is that? Is it that makes the air so important? Why is it important to preserve the environment? And why nature has kept this composition of air? Later we will discuss what is the composition of air and what effect will it have on our health if we allow air pollution to grow. If suppose this composition of air changes, what effects of this composition will have on our health and atmosphere and vice versa. So going to the air, the functions of the air are the life-giving oxygen. As we know that there is a certain percentage of oxygen in the air, and due to the presence of air, it's very easy for human beings, animals, and other living beings to sustain life and take oxygen and for the essential for the respiration. And air also have body cooling effect due to the flow of airs, the humid temperature and the high temperature, which is gradually flows off with air, and due to this we feel cool, and especially in summer situation when we have perspiration, and due to the flow of the air, we feel a little bit coolness due to the flow of air, and body temperature slowly and gradually cools, and the temperature of air in the atmosphere also decreases down. Third function is the transmission of the stimuli, especially smell and hair. It's very easy for us when there's in the presence of the air. It's very easy for human beings and living beings to have sense of smell. To the flow of air, we can smell either good or bad odor, and also we can hear in the presence of the air. It's very easy for us to hear the voice of the other human beings, animals, and living beings. And whenever there is a slow flow of the air, or there is a high flow of the air, we get disturbed and we feel difficult in hearing. Fourth function of air is the disease causation, and this is not only better the disease causation, but it also decreases the disease due to the presence of air. Suppose there are certain diseases which are transmissible diseases, which can be transmitted from the one person to another, or from one animal to another, or from one living being to the other living. These diseases, they are caused by either indirect contact, either through droplet infection or droplet nuclei or airborne infection. Certain diseases which are transmitted by a droplet infection or the presence of the airborne infection, airborne nuclei. These diseases are transmitted from one person to another. And pollutants, they are also transmitted from one person to another. But other than this, there's a other function of air which decreases the causation of disease. Suppose there's a closed room and there's no any ventilation, so there are chances that in this situation, this atmosphere, one person can transmit the disease to other. If there's a ventilation crossing of the air in room or home, there are minimal chances that a person can transmit disease to other persons, because with the flow of air, these agents, they are wiped out, they are flowing away from one person to another. So the air has also the positive effect on the disease propagation, and also it also inhibits the disease propagation, vice versa. These situations happens. And fifth function is human being need continuous supply of 10 to 20 cubic millimeter per day of air. This is same required for the living beings, because oxygen is needed for the living beings. And here also there's some pressure. Due to this pressure, it's very easy for us to live on the earth. So air has not only the oxygen supply, body cooling, transmission of stimuli, for smell and hearing, disease causation or inhibition of disease, but it has some pressure effect on the human beings or living beings. Coming up on the composition of the air constitutes 78% nitrogen, 21% oxygen, carbon dioxide 0.03%. Other neutral gases are these are the inert gases, like presence of argon, neon, krypton, helium, water vapors. They are also in composition of the air, and dust particles. They are also in composition of the air. So normally air is composed of this. Now question arises, why nature has kept 78% nitrogen, such a large proportion of the nitrogen present in the air? Why only 21% of the oxygen? Why not 78% of the oxygen and 21% of the nitrogen? Why it's not vice versa? Why carbon dioxide is only 0.03%? And certain minute amount of the inert gases. This is a very critical question, which we need to think that if we go into the deep and look at that, the oxygen is 21%. Oxygen is combustible gas, which helps in the combustion of the materials, things. Nitrogen is 78% non-combustible gas. If suppose there is 78% oxygen, what will happen? Everything will burn out. There will be no any living on earth who can survive in excessive pressure of the presence of the oxygen, because it helps in burning. So nature has kept this 21%, which is very sufficient for human beings to survive, to breathe, and to inspire the oxygen and sustain the life. And nitrogen is 78% because it is non-combustible gas. It neutralizes the presence of the oxygen, and also it helps in the with the presence of bacteria. It helps in the fixation of the nitrogen, and especially in cropping of the cropping. And carbon dioxide is 0.03%. It's very minute quantity, and because if there is an increase in carbon dioxide, it has ill effects, and for the human beings it will be very difficult to survive in excessive presence of the carbon dioxide. Inert gases like argon, neon, krypton, helium, they are present in negligible amount, and they are inert gases, means they are not reacting with any other gases or in chemical reactions. So these in the presence of these gases normally inhibits the rusting or acidification of the iron and other such things, and because they don't interact with other gases, means that the low in chemical reaction, they keep natural balance in the air. Water vapors vary with the atmosphere in humid or in the areas which are very near to sea. Water in the concentration of water vapor increases, and in deserts and dry weather or dry atmosphere, the concentration of water vapor decreases. The dust particles are polluted materials. They are also composition of the air, looking at the certain areas like in urban areas, there's pollutant materials, or in industrial areas, there are some certain gases and pollutant materials in the air. So this is the normal composition of air, but this is normal composition, but it varies with areas to areas. In different areas, the composition is different. In different areas, the composition is different because of the presence of certain suppose industries and urbanization and discharge from the vehicles and sea areas and desert areas and these things. So it is also important to understand that the composition stated above is the ideal composition of air. Whatever mentioned, there is the ideal composition of air, like 78% nitrogen, 21% oxygen, and 0.03% of the carbon dioxide in the presence of other gases. This is the ideal one, which sustains the life of the living beings. In places where this composition of air varies, the atmospheric balance of nature may be tilted. For instance, in an industrial area, the composition of air can differ drastically, and pollutants are very high in such areas where industries are present. So coming to first, oxygen, very most important case in the composition of the air. 21% constitutes. Oxygen is an important gas both for humans as well as the atmosphere. It supports breathing for living beings. But at the same time, oxygen is a combustible gas, which I already told you, which means it can catch fire quickly. Thus, when you light a candle, it easily lights up. So it's only 21% of the air, and otherwise, if it's large in composition, there might be catching of fire everywhere, and there might be many problems arising from the excessive presence of the oxygen. And in normal scenario, what happens that human beings take oxygen and they expire the carbon dioxide. What happens? Plants at the daytime, they take the carbon dioxide and release the oxygen for the living beings which are present. So this is a cycle which normally happens, a releasing of oxygen from the plants and releasing of the carbon dioxide from the human beings, taking over of the oxygen by the human beings and taking over of the carbon dioxide by the plants, and this is normally cycles goes on. It balances the composition of the air. Now coming to the nitrogen, to balance out oxygen, there is nitrogen. It is a non-combustible gas and occupies the highest percentage of air, in 78%. This is why when you blow on a candle, it is easily extinguished because this non-combustible gas, when you blow up the air, what happens, the fire which immediately went off. This is done because of the presence of nitrogen in the air, which is non-combustible, 78% composition. Nitrogen is also one of the most abundantly found gases on Earth. The functions of the nitrogen are that it's nitrogen fixing bacteria in the soil they are present, and the roots of some plants we use it to form nitrates. Some of the roots of the plants they use nitrogen to form the nitrates, especially peanuts. And nitrogen also absorbed by the plant is nitrates to make plant protein, and plant protein is very essential for the growth and development of the plants. So when there's a huge presence of trees and plants on the earth, means they need large amount of nitrogen in the form of the nitrates for their development to growth. Third one is carbon dioxide, which is infused in the air with the respiration. As I already told, that human beings we release the carbon dioxide respiration process, and this carbon dioxide is taken by the plants for the photosynthesis in the photosynthesis process. Living beings inhale oxygen and exhale carbon dioxide. There are other ways by which carbon dioxide is infused in the air. Other ways are it's released from the automobiles, from the machines in the atmosphere, and in the combustion process like coal and other such things. It can also be released into the air. Wherever there is excessive presence of vehicles, industries, the composition of that air changes, and we can find excessive presence of carbon dioxide in such atmosphere. And its composition keeps changing. Depending on the place where you are, in general, it should occupy about 0.3% of the Earth's total atmosphere. It's essential to green plant for the process of photosynthesis because they use carbon dioxide for photosynthesis and to have energy and food for their growth and development. It's combined together with water and energy from the sunlight to make food or simple sugars, oxygen produced in the process. And in this process, they take the carbon dioxide and make the food and oxygen. And oxygen taken by the living beings, other living beings. Argon and other inert gases, these are present in very minute quantities. Their presence contributes in day-to-day activities which are also important for human activities. Like it prevents chemical oxidation by oxygen in normal air, so prevents acidification or rusting of the metals. Food is packed in inert gases to remove oxygen. Whatever we found food, baked food, and then it's like done that oxygen is removed from that food, and inert gases they are normally present, so that there will be no bacterial growth in the food, and it can sustain for a long period whenever the human beings is taking or ingesting or eating it. They also function to avoid degradation because there's no presence of bacteria and oxygen, and these gases are present in the food and in atmosphere, so it also decreases the degradation of such things and foods. Minimizes fire hazards because these are the inert gases. They don't react with other gases, and they don't take part in the chemical reactions. Sometimes whenever you find any fire, there are fire extinguishers which contain the inert gases, and inert gases are used to minimize the fire in that area, to reduce the fire and extension of the fire. Water vapor, I already told that water composition of air varies in humid areas and dry areas. In humid areas, there's a high concentration of water vapors. In dry areas, there is a low concentration of water vapors, like nearby sea areas. We will witness that the air composition is humid, and you can see that 70, 80, 90% air will be humid. That means water vapors will be present. In dry air, like deserts and other such areas, we will find that there is very minute quantity of water vapors will be present in such weather. So when the water present in the water bodies evaporates due to heat, it rises up and mixes into the atmosphere. You can assess the presence of water vapor in the air by measuring the humidity levels. You will notice that as we come closer to sea, the level of humidity rises. This is because the amount of water vapor is more near seaside areas. Actually, right now that I'm conducting the lecture, it's one-way communication. But at the end of lecture, whatever you don't understand, and if you have any confusion, you can raise questions or ask questions at the end of the lecture. So till time we have discussed water vapors. Now, which impurities are present in the air due to the respiration, like men and animals respire. So whatever we expire from the lungs, whatever from mouth or whatever impurities present in our respiratory system, when we release those impurities, they are present in the air, like bacteria, viruses, other such livings which can cause a disease to other animals or humans. Other impurities of air are the coal, gas, oil, and these impurities are generated or released in the combustion process, and due to the electrical coal mills, and due to the combustion process presence of the gas fuels and oil fuels, these impurities are released in the air. Other is the decomposition of organic matter. Due to the decomposition process, these organic matter, they are released into the air. And in the process of the trade, traffic, and manufacturing, some of the chemicals, some of the gases, they are released into the air, like carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, fluorocarbon, and other such things. Especially the process given of the dust, fumes, vapors, and gases. So normally these impurities are present in the air, but it varies with area to area, with atmosphere to atmosphere. Air has certain self-cleansing mechanism, means it cleanses by self due to certain situations. This self-cleansing mechanism of air is done through the wind, flow of the wind, through the sunlight, through the raining season, through rain, or plant life, the presence of plant life. We are going into the detail. Whenever wind flows, it washes away the impurities present in the air, or contagious materials, or the bacteria, viruses. Whenever there is excessive flow of wind, these impurities, they are washed away to the less concentrated area where. So normally balance of the air occurs. Whenever there is slow flow of the air, there are high chances of the presence of the impurities. And these contagious material means the living beings or human beings which are present in that area, they are prone to diseases and such or illness or malfunctions in the human beings. The other self-cleansing mechanism of air is due to the presence of the sunlight. Normally what happens, due to the sunlight, bacteria, viruses, and other such causing agents, they are killed due to the sunlight presence. in that area, and when there is minimize sunlight, the excessive presence of these bacteria trigger or cause the disease. So third function of the self-cleansing mechanism of air is when there is veining, the impurities, the dust particles, they are settled down, and the bacteria, they are also settled down from air into the bottom or on soil or earth. So this is third self-cleansing mechanism of the air. Fourth one is the plant life. What happens in plant life, they do take oxygen and do take carbon dioxide into the release, and release the oxygen, which is very necessary for the breathing or living, for the sustaining of the life. So this cycle of oxygen and carbon dioxide is essential for the living beings, and this normally balances the presence of these gases in the air. So the wind, what happens, when dilutes and drives away impurities and maintains cool and pure air. So impurities are also washed away, and contagious materials are washed away, but it has also a cooling effect. Whenever there is a high temperature, when there's a increased flow of the wind, the temperature normally cools down in that area. So wind has these functions which normally balances for the sustaining of the life. Rain washes away as it comes down the impure gases and suspended particles of dust and smoke in the atmosphere. The presence of oxygen and ozone in the air helps in the oxidation. So in the stratosphere, there is the ozone gas which filters the sun rays and other such gases, and so it takes in the process of the oxidation. Sunlight and heat oxidizes the impurities and kill the bacteria, as I already discussed with you. Green plants utilize the carbon dioxide and generate oxygen for the living beings. So, in last, healthy balance is very necessary for the living beings. Oxygen released from the plants for the sustaining of the life. For the living beings are human beings, and carbon dioxide is released by the human beings to take up by the plants. So this normally happens in the atmosphere or air. Normally these are the questions or assignment which I ask the students to have a 1 page or 2 page assignment to share with me. But due to the online classes and you people will not be available physically, so this time there will be no assignment this time for the students. Next time we will see if we have time to discuss physically question and translation. So I will ask for the assignment for the students. I'm unmuting the students. Hello. Hello, no cross talking. I'm unmuting the students now. Any students who do not understand my presentation or have any questions or misconception regarding air and ventilation, can ask the question. Yes. Any question from any student regarding air and ventilation?
Sir, is this assignment?
बेटा assignment अभी नहीं है. Assignment we will see if we have interaction physically next time in the university. I can ask for the assignment. But right now, no assignment. Just wanted to ask that if any student who have any query or who did not understand my presentation regarding air ventilation, can ask a question. जी बेटा, नो क्वेश्चन बेटा, ठीक है। कैन आई क्लोज द प्रेजेंटेशन? ओके, ठीक है बेटा, आई एम क्लोजिंग द प्रेजेंटेशन. Next time I think we will have this lecture in the lecture hall, and we can discuss any queries and questions regarding hair manipulation. Thank you so much. Babu was close for this.
Yes,
हाँ, बस इनके आंसर में.
hi.